Thanks for coming by and checking out the Market Chameleon pre-market show with Will McBride and Dimitri Pargamonik. Hey, D.
Hey, Will, how's it going?
How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. I think you have the wrong screen up, by the way.
Oh, sorry. We had some technical issues this morning. Let me get it up. You see it now?
Nope. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Before we get started, keep in mind, Will and I were not registered investment advisors. We're not a broker dealer. We're not telling you what to do. We're just sharing ideas. If you need advice, call your registered investment advisor, call your broker. That's what they're there for. There's the disclaimer.
Excellent.
And let me share my screen. As I'm doing that, a quick note, anyone join us for the first time, Will and I, we do these shows in the morning to try to help answer questions you may have about the Market Chameleon tools, the data, the analytics. If you have a question, type that question into the live chat on YouTube. Will's watching and he'll read it back to me. If you want to come on the show and ask your question live, click on that link that takes you to Zoom. And once you get into Zoom, click on raise your hand. That lets us know you have a question. Once we let you in, you could ask your question live and direct. While to give you guys a chance to put in your questions, we'll take a few minutes looking at the pre-market report, and then we'll go to the questions. All right, so let's see if we could get some insights. What's going on in pre-market hours? So this is the pre-market report. These are stocks trading in the pre-market hours. Let me refresh my screen. I think I had it up for a while. See if anything new pops in. But I'm going to scroll down here, and we're going to take a look at these three lists. We have our most active list, our biggest percentage gainers, biggest percentage decliners. I see we got 44 stocks that made our percentage gainers list, 28 on our decliners. So from this perspective, we're looking like we're setting up for a bullish bias at the open. Let's look at it from another angle. We have this calendar view. If we scroll up, you could go back days to see the pre-market activity in historically. Right now, we're on October 12th. So we see here we have 532 stocks that are trading higher in the pre-market hours, 249 stocks trading lower. If we look at the volume, we have 214 million shares traded on up volume versus 85 million on down volume. And if we convert that volume to dollar value, we have $3.7 billion worth of stock trading higher versus $853 million worth of stock trading lower. So far, the trading in the pre-market hours looks like it's lining up with a bullish sentiment. Let's look at it from one more perspective, then we'll go to the questions. So down here, when we go to this list, we see that we have small cap stocks in there. These are the market caps here. We have leverage products. We have ETFs in there. There could be a preferred stock in there. So pretty much any stock, any security that's listed on a major US exchange, if it's trading in the pre-market hours and it meets our conditions, our thresholds for liquidity, price change, volume, it could make this list. So to narrow it down to a smaller group of stocks, we could use the filters above. If you have a watch list, you could filter by your watch list. I'm going to use this one in ETF. I'm going to click on it, and we see a list of ETFs to choose from. There are sector ETFs in there, broad-based ETFs. I'm going to use this one, SPY, in this example, which is the S&P 500 ETF. When we click on it, the list below gets filtered by stocks that are holdings in the SPY, which are the S&P 500 constituents. And here we see 14 stocks made our percentage gainers list, 200 decliners. So yeah, from that perspective, it looks like, so far in the pre-market hours, the trading is, has a bullish bias. So more, more buying, looks like more buying activity. We gave it a few minutes, Will. If you have questions, I'll take them now.
Nothing's popped up, D.
Okay. Let's take a look at seasonality report. Something, I was reading today in an article, and we'll use SPY and take a look at the seasonality of how it tended to perform during a calendar month. So we see here, so far, we're right here, October. So this is 2023. So you could see here that it's showing us the performance of SPY, S&P 500 ETF by calendar month, right? So if we look at the performance of September, August, whatever here, we could look going back 10 years. We see in September tended to be the weakest month. So historically, right? So historically, if we went across and checked all the months, September seemed to be the weakest seasonally of all the months. And actually, there are only 2 months right now in a calendar month where it showed the SPY, S&P 500 with negative returns. That's September and one in December. So in December, we could see that even though there were more instances where the returns were positive, right? 60% of the returns were positive in the month of December, right? The average of all those returns were negative, and that's because of probably like these big down moves. And that's important because sometimes people ask me, well, what's better, the frequency of the wins or positives, or the average returns? But you could see here they're both important, right? Because it could show you that even historically, this had more positive instances. The times that it was negative, you could see were very big in December. So you had a 9% and 6% move to the downside, giving us an average negative return. We could also look at the median return, which is like right in the middle. So obviously this 9.3% is pulling down the average because we don't have any up moves anywhere near that big, right? We could see the highest up move was 4.3%. So this 9.3% is weighing down the average. And we could compare the median moves. So these are right in the middle. And here we could see the median moves, right? If we go down, September was the only one that shows up as negative. I think January here just shows up as a break even. So January also can be one of the weaker months, calendar months, right? But certainly September is, historically one of the weakest seasonally calendar months out of the year, and that we're past that now, right? We're up here in October so far, 2.1% gain. Anything could happen. Obviously, markets are also news driven, but it looks like that after September, when it's been weak, we see more money flowing into the market usually, because here we could look back 2022, after a very weak September, August and September, we had a big pop in October. We had a weak September here in 2021, down 5%. You could see October up 7%. Here's one where actually, 2 months in a row down. This one was followed by down month, but more often they're followed by up months, right? And if we just kind of look what happened this year, so we had 2 down months in a row. And if we look at it historically, I see one here, two down months in a row, followed by an up month. Okay, and this one, two down months in a row, followed by an up month. So that's just kind of giving you a historical viewpoint of how from a seasonal perspective, how the market tended to behave. You could also take a look at the seasonality for the volatility. All right, right now we are in a low implied volatility environment. I'm going to take a look at the seasonality here. And we'll see this is a seasonal chart taking, the average to see how historically, these are like 10-year averages of how implied volatility in SPY tended to move. So I'll come down here to the table, and we could see here the average and median IV for September versus October. And it looks to me like October tends to tick up from September. Right, so from September to October, we see from an average of 14.5 to 16.1. If we look at the median from 12.7, 14.6, tended to move higher. Then we kind of declined in November, probably because we're getting closer to the holidays. That's my guess. So here, as we're getting closer to the holidays, November, things start to slow down, not as much trading activity. I think we have a lot of days that were closed, right, in November, Will?
Yeah, we have numerous days. Actually, is it one day we're closed or 2 days? I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. So that looks like volatility starts to get implied vols, come down to one of the lowest out of the year. So we got something around there in August. I'm just trying to find the lowest. We got July seems to be the lowest out of all the calendar months. So July, you could see here, traditionally implied vols are down on median return. So average 12.9, median return 11. So when I'm looking across the board, that is the lowest. Starts to tick up August and September, in October, then drops off in November. So if we're just looking at it from a seasonality, if it follows the same, the same patterns, if there is that pressure, that's how the stock tended to perform versus the implied volatility. I could come down here. I'm not sure if you guys have this view yet. I might have been working on it, but let's just look at it just to get some insights. We're right now in October. So let's look at the implied volatility in October. And we started out, the implied volatility was 15.5. We're at, right now, we're not done yet, but the last one is 13.8. So you could see here, implied vols have declined since the start of the month, right? So we started out already higher. We got up as high as 17.4, but right now we're at 13.8. And the median finish for the month of October is 13. So if we took the median of all these, they usually finish at 13. The average was 16. That's because we had a couple high ones, right? And well, this high one and this high one, 32, 24, the median 13. and this is the high low for the month of October. So just all right, so just looking, looking at that, just from looking at the October from start to finish, it did tend to decline, right, by 1.7 down to 13, and we're close to that right now. So if we don't have any questions, I'll probably just end it there.
All right. Any questions? We are on a little delay. We are missing Rob from Chicago. Usually brings a question whenever you show
That's
anything.
fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, look, this really, we do this in the morning just to help answer questions. And if there are no questions, it's okay. We'll be here tomorrow.
We will be, because today's Thursday. It's actually, it's one day off in November, but remember, it's Thanksgiving. So usually that Friday is a very slow day.
The Friday is a slow day, and I think people
usually the Wednesday's a slow day too.
Yeah.
That
whole week might be right, because a lot of people take advantage of to go away or to do things that holiday week. So usually that entire week is pretty slow as far as like trading activity. It's pretty slow. But yeah, if I didn't have really any questions overnight in the emails that to talk about. It wasn't like about any data or analytics questions that I could think of really to talk about. So if I get some today, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I did push out a video yesterday. If you guys want to watch it, it was about a diagonal spread. So it's on our YouTube channel. I just set up the diagonal spread.
All right. Well, let me hold up. Let me put that before we go. Let me put it out there for everyone.
Yep.
It was the diagonal option put spread strategy setup, payout analysis, and risk assessment.
Yeah. So
All
I
right.
just to show a basic setup, and what the objective of the spread would be, and the risks of it.
All right. So I'm going to put that link in the chat. Anyone can check that out if they want. Maybe come with some questions tomorrow if you have any. Awesome job, Dima. And remember, we did do a webinar earlier in the week and a podcast, and they're all available on the Interactive Broker website. And the whole library, Market Chameleon webinar library, sits there. Every webinar we've done, I think it's 29 now. So I'll put that link in as well, D. Great job, buddy.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Stay safe out there. Have a great trading day. Hope to see you guys tomorrow.